God's promise that transforms your greatest struggle into your greatest victory. Picture this scenario. You're staring down the biggest crisis of your life. The consequences of your past decisions are racing toward you like an avalanche. Your brother is marching toward you with an army, thirsting for revenge. You've sent everyone you love across the river to safety, and now you're utterly alone in the wilderness. That's exactly where Jacob found himself beside the Jabbok River on what he thought might be his last night alive. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men, and you have prevailed." Genesis 32:28. But here's what Jacob experienced that changed everything. God doesn't always rescue us from our battles. Sometimes he joins us in them, not with soothing words or miraculous escapes, but through an intense, all-night encounter that would redefine Jacob's entire existence. A divine being appeared in human form and engaged Jacob in physical combat that lasted until sunrise, and Jacob absolutely refused to surrender without receiving a blessing. The struggle was so intense that Jacob's hip was wrenched from its socket, yet he refused to let go. Wounded and exhausted, he clung to his mysterious opponent and declared, "I will not release you until you bless me." This was a man desperately holding on to God with bruised hands, willing to bear any injury if it meant receiving his divine favor. What happened when dawn finally broke? The mysterious wrestler, who was God in human form, bestowed upon Jacob both a new name and a transformed identity, Israel, meaning one who wrestles with God and overcomes. Jacob's lifelong pattern of struggling and striving was suddenly redeemed and redirected toward its ultimate purpose. But this wasn't merely individual transformation. This was the birth of a nation's identity. Throughout biblical history, we observe this same pattern unfolding. Abraham wrestled with God's seemingly impossible promises. Moses wrestled with inadequacy at the burning bush. Hannah wrestled with barrenness until she received Samuel. Jeremiah wrestled with despair and wanted to quit his calling, yet emerged as the weeping prophet who delivered God's word faithfully. Every single time God's servants engaged in desperate spiritual wrestling, they emerged with greater blessing and clearer purpose. This isn't merely ancient narrative. This is your current reality. The same God who grappled with Jacob beside that ancient river grapples with you in your darkest moments. That sleepless anxiety consuming your nights. That impossible situation that has you cornered. That confrontation you're dreading. God may be wrestling with you right in the center of it all. When fear whispers that your struggles prove God has abandoned you, remember this truth. The God who renamed Jacob through wrestling is the same God who transforms your midnight battles into morning victories. His greatest blessings often come not despite our wrestling, but because of it. And his track record of breakthrough remains perfect. Your wrestling with God might be exactly what transforms you from who you were into who you're destined to become.